This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. The Waco History Podcast is sponsored by Brotherwell Brewing on historic Bridge Street in Waco.
Welcome to the Waco History Podcast. We're going to air for you over the next few months a special series of Waco History Living Stories. These were segments that were originally aired on KWBU here in Waco. They were produced by the Institute for Oral History editor, Michelle Holland, and narrated by two fabulous narrators, Louise Murphy and Kim Patterson. And so these highlight oral histories from the collection of the Institute for Oral History at Baylor University, which I direct, which has been around since 1970 and has over 1,000 interviews related to Waco and McLennan County history, and we're happy to highlight those here.
Cross the Brazos at Waco, ride hard and I'll make it by dawn.
In this Living Stories vignette, timed for winter time, is food products from a hog killing. We did an episode on hog killing earlier, and this shows you some of the fruit that can come from such an annual event.
Then the night came alive with gunfire. He knew that
This is Living Stories featuring voices from the collections of the Baylor University Institute for Oral History. I'm Kim Patterson. Each autumn in the early part of the 20th century, many Southerners made time for a hog killing. The slaughter offered a change in diet, but more importantly, yielded enough food to help families get through the winter. Longtime Waco resident Louise Murphy recalls that hog killing was a family affair, with even children given responsibilities.
They give me the intestines. I had to go get me some water, put them intestines in a pan of water. Then I had to get me a jar of something, get water in, hold this intestine up, and pour till it was clean on the inside. Then I put him on the table, and I would scrape him. I'd scrape him. I'd get a hairpin and put over it, and I'd bring all that stuff out until you could see through that intestine just as clear as it could be. And that's what we stuffed our sausage in.
Murphy describes a few hog delicacies.
The brains. I had a brother-in-law that had to have them brains and scrambled eggs. And my dad would save the liver and the lights. And my mother would go in and put her big pan on, and she'd put liver and lights, cook them together.
Lights refers to the lungs of the hog. Thomas Wayne Harvey of Waco remembers how his father handled the meat.
Dad would hang the hog up, and he would quarter it out, and he had a wooden 55-gallon barrel there, and it's about 4 inches in the bottom. It's full of salt. And then he'd put a slab of bacon and then cover that with salt, and then another slab of bacon and cover that with salt. And it was always all salt pork and salt hog all the way up the top. And then his hams, they put all kind of seasoning on the hams that got over there, and he had a brand new toe sack bag, and they put that ham in there, and they hung it up. He'd go out there and tend that ham, and by the time Christmas got there, you could take a ham and cut the toe sack off, and you could eat the ham raw because it was cured. It was really divinely cured.
The attitude in a hog killing was waste not, want not, as Harvey explains.
Most of the hide they made pork rinds out of, hog hides nowadays you call them, but back then you call them cracklings. And then of course they used the meat out of the head for minced meat. Even the feet was put in a solution, and the hooves was taken off of them, the hide was taken off of them for pig's feet, and they'd pickle pig's feet. About the only thing that was left of the hog that was never cured or treated was a tail, as far as I know.
Hog killings as performed in the early 1900s have largely disappeared over the years. But some enthusiasts of homegrown, old-fashioned hog products still carry out the tradition. For program transcripts or more information about the Institute for Oral History, visit baylor.edu/living stories.
at Waco, ride hard and I'll make it by dawn.
Thanks for listening to the Waco History Podcast. Like what you heard? Subscribe, rate, and review our show on iTunes so we can reach more listeners. You can find show notes and info on every episode at wacohistorypodcast.com, and more info on Waco's past at wacohistory.org. Our theme music, used with permission, is Cross the Brazos at Waco, performed by the late Billy Walker. For more info on Billy's music, go to billywalker.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
When I reach San Antone.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.